I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. June 1st, 2020, A20 was established within the City of Ann Arbor as a way to achieve community-wide carbon neutrality by 2030. Every June, events throughout Ann Arbor teach residents ways to live more sustainably during A20 week.
We're here for our A20 Ward 3 party. Really excited to have it right here in my neighborhood in Bryant at Arbor Oaks Park, and an opportunity for folks to come out and celebrate in the neighborhood, but also see some of the incredible work that we're doing with A20.
Ward parties are hosted by the Office of Sustainability and Innovations and each council members for each ward. And so we've got plant-based food, a clothing swap, lemon sorbet from Washtenaw Dairy, kids station, a little bit of everything for everybody.
Using things like the circular economy to share things out rather than throwing things into a landfill. You know, that piece of clothing that you're maybe tired of is maybe something that somebody else is going to get really excited about and be able to wear. So, you know, donating those things, sharing them, participating in clothing swaps, and then just introducing a little bit more plant-based food into your diet. Our local governments can step up, our local communities can step up, and we can do our part to make sure that we're keeping our planet healthy and clean and safe for the next generation.
For more ways to create a healthier tomorrow, visit a20.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. Welcoming ethnicities and cultures from all over the world make living in our region of Michigan special. For 28 years, the African American Downtown Festival has been sharing Black-owned businesses, artists, and entertainment of all kinds with the community. Watch.
We got the African American Festival down here, lots of food, good people, and a great time.
There was a strong population of Black businesses almost 30-some years ago, so we're here just to keep that tradition going and to recognize that.
Stucco Girl Collection, which is our business, and we currently sell design-inspired jewelry, dresses, accessories.
You can find us at tacopsearch.com. We really want to, advocate for gun safety. We want to try to find a way to end gun violence. We want to find a way to make sure that the guns stay out of the youth. I have here the original art varying from pencil, pastels, oil, acrylic, even on clothes.
We have different, from all backgrounds. We have the gospel, we have jazz, we have R&B. We try to hit our different background and so we can support every genre of music.
The knowledge and the understanding and stuff of the culture. So it's a very great venue, a very great event. I'm proud to be a part of it.
And it's good to come out and fellowship and meet good people from all ethnics and come out and explore and see what's going on and to represent downtown Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor is known as a bike-friendly community, but there can be questions about the rules in sharing city streets. Learn more about safe biking in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, this is Officer John Gilby from the Ann Arbor Police Department with a reminder about bicycle safety. Whether you're riding to school, work, or just around town, always wear your helmet because it could save your life. Be sure to be visible, and the city requires all cyclists to use lights in the rear and rear reflectors after sunset. Ride with the flow of traffic and obey all traffic signs and signals. And if you're riding on the sidewalk, ride slowly and announce your presence to pedestrians. Make sure that you stay alert and watch for parked car doors, and never ride distracted. Protect your bike by using a U-lock to avoid leaving valuables in plain sight. And drivers, remember in Ann Arbor, you must give cyclists at least 5 feet of space when passing. Let's work together and make the Ann Arbor streets safe for everyone. Stay alert, ride smart, and stay safe.
July in the city is sizzling as hot cars rev their engines and take over the downtown. The Rolling Sculpture Car Show boasts hundreds of exotic, classic, and unusual vehicles that make heads turn. Joining me is Ben Colman, chairman, and Jeff DeBoer, volunteer coordinator for the Rolling Sculpture Car Show. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thank you. Hi, Dana. Nice to be here.
Well, tell me what you guys are excited about. We haven't talked about this show in 3 years, and I assume the show was happening still, and I just missed out.
Well, we had a few years off. I was just looking at my calendar this morning, and this is the 28th Rolling Sculpture Show. We can't call it annual anymore because we had a couple of years off for the pandemic and then construction in 23. So we've been doing it for 28 years and gonna do it some more.
I would say it's still annual, personally, to me, because I think you guys will continue. I mean, it's only not annual because of things standing in your way.
Very true.
What is going on for the 2025 show? Anything different? Anything to expect when traveling there with your family, friends, loved ones?
So I think returning visitors and new visitors can expect what they've seen in past years, which is Main Street and adjoining streets completely full of really cool vehicles. And it's a very pedestrian-friendly environment now, especially with all these roads closed off. And we anticipate another huge crowd. The show runs until 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. So plenty of time to walk the streets and see what's happening. Obviously, all the restaurants are open, outdoor seating, which it turns into just a really huge social event. And family members meet other family members, friends meet friends. It's become kind of a rally point for lots of different folks.
Yeah, it's a really exciting. I actually really love it. I think it's really cool to see these cars because I feel like when I was like a teen, you'd see a lot of these cars on the road, but I don't feel like you see as many anymore. Like every once in a while, you'll be like, "Oh man, that's a sweet car that just drove by me," but you don't see them like you used to.
Well, a lot of the cars now they're so homogeneous. They all look the same, and the cars from the 50s, 60s, 70s, they were distinctive. They look different, and they're head turners. And it's fun to get them downtown and get our heads turned a little bit.
It's so true, Ben. I always say I used to like care about what kind of car I had because there would be like reasonably priced cars that actually looked really cool and you could like be proud of the car. You like liked the car and liked the way it looked and felt and stuff. And then like a few years ago, I feel like everything became an Equinox, and that's what I drive now. It's like everything looks like an Equinox. Like if you're just like talking about the average driver, a lot of people just have like those little SUVs.
I think they're for the name of the show, Rolling Sculpture. And
Yeah.
I think it's still an appropriate name, and it really doesn't matter what kind of motive power you have, be it gasoline, electric, or whatever. It's all about rolling sculpture, celebrating the beauty of the automobile. And like you said, Dana, maybe in years past, maybe we're dating ourselves. There were a lot of really different, unique looking vehicles on the road, even different colors, and that weren't just black, white, and gray. So, and I think because of the community we live in and our proximity to Southeast Michigan, it's a huge car culture. And, I think, the show that we put on for everybody really brings these vehicles out of their garages. And the owners really love to show them.
The cool thing is like these people customize these cars like in a way that you'll never see another car like that again. It might be a make and model that exists, but they're doing things to these cars that you've never seen. And the amazing thing to me now to think about is because cars are so different than they used to be in the 60s, 70s, 50s, that like there's not as many people that can help you fix a car now. So like you want one of these Buttes, you better learn how to fix it yourself.
That's true. You know, there's an interesting vehicle comes to mind a few years ago. You may remember this one, Jeff. There's a fellow who had a chopped and customized VW microbus from the 60s.
Sure.
And it was chopped. It was shortened, a good foot and a half, something like that, and big wheels on it. Just really, really nicely customized. Nice job done. And we people hand out awards, sponsors award vehicles in their categories. This fellow won an award for this VW microbus, and he said, "This is the first time I've been to the show. This is my first time, and I got an award." He said, "This is great." So, just that range of involvement, that range of what you're liable to see there is really pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just going to pick up on where Ben was going there. I think maybe one thing unique about the show we put on in Ann Arbor is if you think your car is cool and it has a story or you've rebuilt it yourself, you're in. And if it's special for you, then it's special for us. And we just trust, registrants that if they bring it, everyone else is going to find it interesting too. And I think you're right, Dana. There are a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there, to varying degrees, sort of emblematic of the hobby of old cars. And you're right. Sometimes you're literally are kind of forced to find your own workbook and figure it out yourself.
Jeff, I do like that you mentioned that, like, this sort of dulling of car colors. My husband just got a new BMW in January, and the colors were so weird. I couldn't believe like the options that were available. So
Mhm.
he ended up getting a purple BMW, which I think it reminds me of my own purple neon that I had back in the day, except a lot better. But like it's almost like 2025. I feel like they're bringing colors back finally. Like car colors exist again.
Yeah, yeah, hallelujah. I've actually seen a few green cars on the road, which seems kind of silly to say, but when's the last time you saw a green vehicle? Yeah,
No, totally. Yes, because like you would buy a car and you'd like look at the options. You're like, okay, you get white, gray, silver, and black, which gray and silver are almost exactly the same color.
right. And that's what's
You know,
fun with the show. Just to close that thought, I mean, you come downtown during the show, and you do see all the colors that were offered in the 50s and the 60s, and it's a whole spectrum.
Yeah, totally. Like you get the teal and like I don't know, yeah, just really cool stuff that you wouldn't think about nowadays.
racing green used to be an unlucky color. Race cars didn't used to be green. And of course, Jim Clark's race car, his Lotus was green, and they started to come back. And I think they're starting to hit the streets a little bit more now, too.
Yeah.
I've noticed the new Corvettes. Corvette is really coming out with some pretty interesting, pretty creative colors.
Very
Uh,
true.
they're having some fun with the
Yep,
with the styling of those.
for
Well, why
sure.
would you have a sports car that isn't a hot color? You know what I mean? Like you want people to look at that car.
I would think that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah,
CNBC.
totally. You want to turn heads.
Totally.
So this year's show is July 11th.
Mhm.
So
Yep,
it's
July
from
11, Friday from 2 to 10. One thing that's a little bit different this year is in past years, we've had the show entrance on Washington Street, but due to construction, cars will be entering the show this year on Liberty Street. Uh, Same footprint downtown, they're just going to come in a little bit differently. Uh, I know some people like to watch the parade of cars as they enter the show, so you need to go one block south if you want to see that this year.
For sure.
Are you looking for volunteers and stuff still?
Well, funny you should ask. So I was just tallying up this morning. We are at 44 volunteers, which I think is probably a world record.
Wow,
Um,
that's
but
cool.
but
Nice.
but yeah, yeah. So that's fantastic. All of our spots are filled, and we're in really good shape. I will say, however, if there's anybody listening that's out there that is interested in volunteering, please reach out to us because as with any group, we have attrition year over year, people move away or, have conflicts. So I really try to keep that potential queue full of folks that would really like to help out. And I will also just make another plug for volunteers. It's a pretty big perk, actually, that volunteers that also are showing a car are allowed to park their car before anybody else.
Oh.
And it kind of takes the whole stress level down. A lot of people get kind of stressed out when they're bringing their cars in, which is understandable. But the reason we do that is, well, A, when they're volunteering, they don't really have time to bring their car in with the rest of the queued staging area. But they also act as sort of spotter cars, and they set the pattern of parking for all the other cars. So it really kind of simplifies things and makes it safer.
Do you have like certain areas mapped out for certain car breeds, I guess?
Uh, No, the parking in terms of where you end up being told to go, and you are directed to a spot is completely random. It's totally random. It changes every year. We do that on purpose. Lots of folks have a favorite spot to park, but we just try to keep it kind of mixed up and fresh for everybody. And what I always tell the registrants, car registrants, is there really is no bad parking spot downtown. Every place is really neat, and you'll be besieged with interested people wanting to know about your vehicle.
Well, and the whole footprint is not that large. Like you're gonna walk the whole thing. Well, if you go, you're walking every area and looking at all the cars.
For sure.
Do
You
you
know,
have, speaking of parking, what if you're not in the show? Do you guys have tips for going there since there are a lot of streets closed? Are there certain parking lots that are good ones to hit up or like street parking nearby?
I just hit one of the parking structures. There's the what's known as the Klein slot on Ashley.
Mhm.
Depending on availability, that's a good place. But parking structures are probably the ideal place to go.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree.
And talking about what's preferred parking in the show, to follow up on what Jeff said, a lot of people I've spoken with said, I got to park on Main Street. I need to be on Main Street. I have to be on Main Street. Well, I've talked with people, as Jeff has said, said, look, it's totally random. We have you placed on Liberty Street or you're down on Washington Street. Oh, I don't know about that. And I've spoken with people after they've been there. They say, you're right. I don't have to be on Main Street. I really liked it down on Washington Street. It's a little bit different feeling. And
Yeah.
I kind of like that. So it really, once people experience it, they lose some of their got to be on Main Street mindset.
Well, and the random aspect's kind of nice because you could sort of meet new people. And I'm sure a lot of these people get along well because they have a big hobby in common.
I mean, I still have best friends that I met at the car show before I was involved with coordinating volunteers, and for whatever reason, we randomly ended up being parked next to each other a couple times, and we're like, "Wow, I think it's fate. I think we should be buddies," and so we're still friends. I mean, that was like 12 years ago, so that's really neat.
Do you bring a car down, Jeff?
I typically do. So our family has always been into vintage British cars. So depending on what year and what car is running well, we brought Triumphs down and Austin Healey's. And those that know British cars will know what I'm talking about.
So do you collect? Are you a collector then?
I don't know if I would call myself a collector. We have collected sort of our set of vehicles, and we just keep that same group of cars. I mean, that's to me, that's a handful in and of itself.
I'm sure. I had a friend in high school whose dad collected Lincoln Mark Sevens, and I thought it was super cool, but it's like still, it's a lot of work to collect cars.
What I always told our family and our kids is like, we need at least three to make sure one's running at all times. Maybe that
So
was my way of
true.
rationalizing it.
You got to have something to drive in the summer, right? So what's the entertainment lineup? You still got a DJ, music, things like that?
Yep, Surfer Joe's going to be our DJ once again. He's been the perennial DJ. He'll be playing cartoons and requests from the audience. 7 o'clock is an awards ceremony. Show sponsors each present an award to their chosen category of vehicle. We'll be doing that at 7 o'clock at the corner of Main and Liberty. Other than that, it's just pretty much walk around, visit with the exhibitors, enjoy July Friday afternoon in downtown Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and I don't think like a lot of people think about like what some of the aspects of these cars that you'll never see on anything else. Like the cars with suicide doors or like the seats that like roll out of the car. I don't know. There's just some things that you're like there and you're like, wow, you're like blown away by the artistry of the car industry throughout history while you're there. It really is like a beautiful sight to see. And even for someone that like obviously I've been to car shows, I like cars and stuff, but like I don't have a great car. I'm not fixing cars up. It's like going to a museum and seeing the history of automotive vehicles.
Very true. Very
It
true.
really kind of is, you know. I mean, just the range of things that you're liable to see there. Uh, I remember one of the cars that still sticks in my mind, and this is from some years ago. I'm walking down Main Street, and this is before I was really involved with the show. I saw this little white mid 60s car sitting parked there, and I went over and looked at it. It's a little Buick Skylark, but it wasn't a Buick Skylark. It was a Buick Special, which is back in that era when the Chevy SSs and high performance cars, GTOs were around. This was a little car that Buick made with a six-cylinder engine in it that was pretty impressive. It's just this little sleeper white car sitting there that if you didn't know what you're looking for, you would have completely missed it. But that's part of the fun of the show is you got to search things out a little bit. And the owners, they just love to talk about, oh, you recognize my car. Sure, come on over here, I'll show you.
That is another highlight, though, that the owners are always ready to talk to you about the cars. They don't, I mean, they'll let you sit in them sometimes. They're like really cool about it, and they enjoy as much as you do the fact that you're into their car.
Owners that I've spoken with at the show, numbers of them have said, you know, I go to a lot of car shows. The Rolling Sculpture is my favorite show, just because of that all-encompassing kind of idea, I think. But you talk to pretty much anybody who comes to the show, they're
I agree with you. I feel like when you go to other car shows, I went to one, there was like some hot air balloon festival and there was a car show there, but there was no one hanging out by the cars. It wasn't like you were just walked by the cars and like sort of looked at them. A lot of them were closed up. This is like, you're like in it. You're like part of it with these people, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it feels more like a celebration. And
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, the things that I always notice are just like the sheer scale, maybe, of some of the vehicles from the 60s. You know, for a few years, I think we had I remember it was a convertible Cadillac Eldorado, like a 1963 or something. It looked like it was 30 feet long, you know, and just the scale. But that was very typical during
Oh
that.
yeah, back in the day, like everyone had those Grand Marquis that were huge and yes.
And you'll see, you know, like, you know, kids, and even kids that aren't that young, just stand back in awe looking at this, like this vast, expansive sheet metal. Like, really? Did they make cars like that? So I agree, Dan. I think it is a little bit more like a celebration. It's very dynamic. Everybody's talking. It's very social, and that's what makes it fun.
I will also mention the other cool thing about old cars is they always have beautiful upholstery. Like the cars nowadays, it's like, okay, you got leather seats or whatever, but it's not going to be like this vinyl that has two colors or like, I don't know. It's just like there's something really special about cars in the past.
you know, most of the exhibitors, they take pride in the whole car. It's
Yeah.
not just it's not just the exterior, the bodywork, the paint.
Yep.
It's the interior as well. And you'll see a lot of people, they will style their cars accordingly. I think it's the blue Lincoln Mark II, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff. Uh, 62 Mark II, I think.
Mhm.
The owner of that car, it's kind of an aqua blue, kind of a powder blue, and
Yes.
the interior is styled the same way. There's a blue straw hat in the car. It's tailored to fill the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those were just flamboyant. I don't know how else to say it. It was just a celebration of cars, you know, style, color, materials. It's just a happy, you know, design. And there were some eras that were just known for that.
Well, and
Well, just like clothes are coming back, let's bring back these old style of cars, please, and stop like updating them so they look too new. I want them to look like they used to look.
There you go.
Well, and that's kind of the goal of the show, I think. The founder of the show, Bob Elton, is an automotive designer, and it's this car show. It's not maybe as fancy as Eyes on Design, but it's more of a downtown popular celebration of automotive design, and it's I like that level of visibility.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a bow tie and a straw hat to come to this show. You can get in shorts and a t-shirt.
Or you could wear a tux if you want. You can wear whatever you want.
Sure. Ann Arbor.
Absolutely.
Well, we're just about out of time. I know we've talked about how great the show is, but if you have anything else you'd like to mention about why people should come and check out the show, I will say I have a 2-year-old son, and having a typical boy, he loves cars, and I have all these cars behind me right now because I'm like, now I have a bunch of cars at my house because he's a car boy. And I think we'll be heading down to the rolling sculpture, and I think he will be blown away by what he sees.
One thing I'd add, we have a number of sponsors that we're happy to have, some new ones this year. One new one who's coming back into the fold is Washtenaw Community College. The automotive program is going to be sponsoring a booth, and they are going to be raffling a scholarship to the WCC automotive program. So if there's someone in your family who's the appropriate age that might be interested in that, come on down and talk to them.
That's an amazing opportunity, and WCC does have a great program.
Yes, they do.
So I would just encourage anybody that sees either Ben or I wandering around. We'll have yellow polo shirts on. We'll probably have a walkie-talkie to our ear, but please come up and say hi. And if you are interested in getting involved, I'm there all day. I'll be there all evening, most of the night. And please say hi and introduce yourself, and I'll take your name. And we've had a lot of new volunteers sign up this year, and that's precisely how they did it.
Well, I want to thank you both, Ben and Jeff, for being on the show. It was a great conversation. I love feeling how passionate you guys are about the subject and how much this car show really means to you both.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. We'll look forward to seeing you downtown.
Yep. Thanks, Dana.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.